Let's bring in Andy Card, former chief of staff to President George W. Bush. Andy, great to have you with us today. First, just a quick thought on Lucas's report there as you listen to that. What goes through your mind, Andy?
KSM should have been brought down. It's embarrassing that our judicial system, which is in the military world now, is going through what it's going through. It's frustrating, and it must be very disappointing to all of those family members that were hoping that justice would be served. Yeah. But we've got to remember that it's important for us to not forget what happened on September 11th, 2001. And we have to remember all of those people that were truly innocent, just going to work, going on a plane, showing up at the World Trade Center or the Pentagon, or those heroes that were on Flight 3, the first heroes in the war on terror that said, let's roll, and caused a plane to crash in Shanghai.
Unfortunately, Andy's your audio is breaking up a little bit, Andy. I just want to jump in. Maybe we can get it a little bit stronger so that we can continue. But Andy Card worked with us on a documentary that we've put together called I Can Hear You. And it's about President Bush's visit to New York 3 days after 9/11. It was an incredibly emotional day. And it was a very fraught, emotional time in the country. So the president went to a national prayer service that morning. The country prayed together with all of the living presidents in the front row of the National Cathedral. And then he got on Air Force One and came to New York. And the helicopter flew over downtown as the smoke was still rising. And people were just beginning, really, to dig through the pile, as it became known. And then there was a moment that really galvanized the country. And I think it was a moment that turned the tide a bit and began people's ability to have some hope for the future. And here's a little bit of what happened that day. Watch this.
I can hear you. I can hear you. The rest of the world hears you. And the people who knock these buildings down will hear all of us soon.
He spoke from the heart, and he was interrupted. And the interruption defined the speech.
When the moment came, we can't hear you. That's him. That's him expressing exactly what the country wanted to hear. The people who did this, who brought down these buildings, they're going to hear from all of us soon.
If he had made that same speech down at street level with everybody else, people further away wouldn't have seen it. So fortuitously, there was this platform.
In that moment, something real and important shifted at Ground Zero. It was resolve, and it rippled across the nation.
That changed the entire feeling of the people on the pile at Ground Zero that afternoon. It went from anger to understanding that we were all in this together and that this was not going to be forgotten, that the consequences weren't going to be just felt in New York, but those who had launched this attack were going to suffer the consequences.
That's just a little bit of the documentary that will be available and that you'll see here and on Fox Nation this weekend. Andy, what goes through your mind as you listen to those voices again? And thank you for being part of it.
Well, first of all, thank you and your team for putting that remarkable documentary together. But this is a very emotional time for me. My most memorable day working as Chief of Staff to the President of the United States at the White House and working at the White House for President George H.W. Bush and President Ronald Reagan. My most memorable day by far was September 14th, 2001. The day where the president did do everything that a president has to do, and he did it in one day. And yes, telling the world that they would hear us was one of the capstone experiences of that day. And it did show the resolve,
I'm so sorry that your Skype is breaking up a little bit, but maybe I can just move the story forward and you can give us one more comment if you could, because this was an incredibly long, arduous day for this president. He never complained once throughout the course of it, as you have said. As I said, started at the cathedral, came to New York. After this moment, got back in the car, went up to the Javits Center, started meeting with first responders there, and then basically held the hands of families for 3 hours, Andy. Just a final thought, if we can hear you. We lost him. All right, you're going to hear more. You're going to see the whole documentary, and it is extraordinary. And everybody who participated in it, it just gives me chills when I watch even that little part. So I encourage everybody to watch this whole thing that will be available on Friday on FoxNation.com.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.